Okay, here it is. White trash: the 400-year untold history of class in America. This groundbreaking best-selling history of class system in America. When you turn an election into a three-ring circus, there's always a chance that the dancing bear will win. Yet the voters that put Trump in the White House have been a permanent part of our American fabric. The wretched and landless poor have existed from the time of the earliest British colonial settlement to hillbillies. They were alternately known as waste people, offals, rubbish, lazy rubbers, and crackers. By the 1850s, the downtrodden, including so-called clay eaters and sandhillers, known for prematurely aged children, distinguished by their yellowish skin, ragged clothing, and listless minds. Surveying political rhetoric and policy, popular literature, and scientific theories over 400 years. Upends assumptions about America's supposedly class-free society. I don't think anyone ever thought that America was a class-free society, but where liberty and hard work were meant to ensure real social mobility. Definitely not for black people. Definitely not at that time. Poor whites were central to the rise of the Republican Party in the 18th century, true, and the Civil War itself was fought over class issues. Okay. Nearly as much as it was fought over slavery. That is a true adjacent statement.
Well, I would encourage you to actually read the book because it's not just an opinion piece. She has a lot of very specific historical scholarship. Like, it's funny, the Native American chief who caused whiteness was actually named Chief White Spirit or something like that, just coincidentally. And if you look at the Oglethorpe, how early on they were like, if we allow slavery here, we're going to have an unjust society, and that was understood very early on. And with but even before the founders, how the slavery system will be used to destroy liberty and equality for the entire society and turn the United States into a feudal or aristocratic despotism, right? And there was a concern independently of the humanitarian concerns for the black folks being enslaved, which I'm not I'm not saying that's not an issue, but there was a concern independently of that the white elites would use the hyper exploitation of black people to put themselves up much higher above the white working class, which is what they did then. And what I argue they continue to do today in the neoliberal, neocolonial, white saviorist form.
Yeah, I think I agreed with everything until that last bit. Because you don't have the proper framework to make that last claim. So, everything else is correct, but it's just like you then jump to some conclusion that I don't find follows. I think everything before your conclusion about the white savior frame is correct, and maybe even your suggestion that that's what people are trying to do is correct. Okay, in terms of but in terms of what's how well. I don't even want to get into it. It's hard for me to figure out where to go because I don't know. A lot of this is just it's a little bit disconnected from what I would call reality. But I'm understanding everything you're saying. I'm hearing you. I'm hearing your view of history. I don't think that this book is what you would go to learn about racialized history. I don't think it's written. I don't think, I bet even the author would say that. And so I don't think you should be relying on your education about racial history from this book. I think you would have to read a book that's specifically about that. I do recommend Ibram X. Kendi's Stamped from the Beginning, a history of racist ideas in the Americas, where it's very well cited from the U.S. archives.
I've read Ibram X. Kendi and found him intolerably juvenile.
You read that book, Stamped from the Beginning?
No.
Okay. Well, that one is specifically a history book about this question. So,
okay, what's the name of the book? I really don't want to read Kendi again.
Stamped from the Beginning. Feel free to read it or not, but that is the book that I would recommend for this particular question about the history of racist ideas. They do extend prior to any interaction. These categories predate interaction with Native Americans, for sure. We have historical records that show that. So I recommend that you at least look that up.